Hey guys, it's Clay from Clear Critique. In this Halloween season, I want to talk about a film series that's full of death and foreboding, and yet is fast and fun to watch. And that's the Final Destination franchise. For newcomers, the concept is simple. There's a giant disaster, which turns out to be a premonition by the protagonist, who then warns people to run away before the event happens. The survivors have now cheated death, and so death comes for them one by one to reclaim their souls in epic fashion. I'm going to review these in series order, 1 to 5, and at the end, name the best overall death, opening sequence, and then rank the films. Let's go! The opening premonition is of our characters dying in a plane crash. For the first in a series, setting the intro here is a smart call. A contained setting where characters can easily interact before the big boom, and a simple shake of the camera with flailing actors gives you easy turbulence. It's explosive and thrilling, but I think I like the lead up the best.
Mr. Browning?
Oh, yeah.
Have you received any packages from persons unknown to you?
Final Destination looks cheap, like an early 90s film rather than 2000, but I find it kind of endearing. And trust me, I love when movies have visual personality, at least when done well, and I love when they tell a story through visuals. Yet at the same time, I admire a film that doesn't need to. The story is the mood. Something I call good and not just admirable is that our main actor not only does an impressive job, but actually, sort of, kind of, looks the character's age. Ali Larter gives a solid performance as well, and I'm glad they brought her back for the second film as... what's her name? Clear? Well, that's a bonus point. The brief moments of detective work are fun to watch, and it's refreshing to see adolescent characters act like adolescents. One last note on the script, I have to ask my fellow dudes, have you ever said to another guy, "Hey bro, let's take a shit together"?
Alex, let's go take a shit.
As the first film, Final Destination went a more realistic route with its deaths, and they seem almost tame compared to the Rube Goldberg machines of later installments. Okay, the climax is like an octopus stuck in an electrical socket, but tonally, I'm not sure what they were going for there. Also, I shouldn't laugh at how this woman sounds as she bleeds out and tries to escape a burning house. I really shouldn't, but she sounds like the woman in that grape stomping video. There is a great one here, and that's when someone accidentally strangles himself in a bathtub. The editing is panicky, the camera is close, bloodshot eyes, the way his toes curl. This puts the audience in the moment. The first film is a bit reserved and testing the waters, but that's not a bad way to introduce a concept as fresh as this. Some character decisions are stupid, but overall, the movie is still pretty damn fun. 7 out of 10.
The crash of this turned this tragic story into something even stranger.
The opening highway sequence is spectacular. The build-up is perfect, showing just enough of various characters and vehicles before things go awry. You may have an idea of how bad the situation will get, but the way it escalates blows it out of the water. This truly feels like a catastrophe. Rather than discovering who's next in the cycle by the order in which they died, here the cycle goes backwards. In addition, our lead links up with Clear from the first film and experiences visions of the other deaths. This is my main problem with the film, in that there's not enough building of atmosphere because there is so much dialogue. With the sheer amount of explaining our characters do, this 90-minute film feels more like 2 hours. Not to say it's bad. Since the opening wipes out our protagonist's friends, she has to investigate and survive alongside strangers. It adds tension. When the film ends on a goofball note, it's such a surprise because up till then, it's kind of a downer, but a good downer. The murder sequences in this film are an improvement, focusing more on how multiple elements can create one disaster. The airbag pipe scene is inventive, the bit with the elevator will have you squirming, but the best is one in an apartment. In many ways, it's like the quintessential Final Destination death. It's genuinely nail-biting and the acting brings it home. While it suffers from some pacing issues, the second in this series takes what worked in the first film and expands upon it, in tone, characters, and action. like a good sequel should. 7 out of 10. Number 3 opens with our characters chatting and bickering on a roller coaster, which promptly malfunctions and kills everyone on board. There's plenty of fear and mayhem you can mine from the sketchiness many of us perceive about roller coasters, but the sequence falls flat almost entirely because the graphics suck. It's ambitious to set the opening here, but none of it feels real. Rewatching this series, it was a treat to see how each film explores the clue-finding process. And number 3 has the best method. Each picture taken at an amusement park contains clues to the character's demise. Both the intro and its fallout take too long, but once the main plot gets going, it's very entertaining watching our leads decipher these clues. This series has always been a little tongue-in-cheek, but in number 3 and onwards, that line between intentionally campy and stupid blurs. This gym scene is hysterical.
Fuck the Bruins!
No one looks like they're in high school. Plus, the acting by these two girls is parody level terrible.
We're going to the tanning salon after this. And we are so totally cool if you want to come with. Totally.
Woof. I bring this up often when discussing horror. Acting matters. We won't feel the fear if the acting isn't there, and this is critical when discussing protagonists. We'll see later in this video how bad acting from the lead can kill immersion, but thank God Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the main character. I'm not saying this is Oscar-worthy work or anything, but she is great at acting scared. Based on Winstead's performance alone, it's easy to empathize with the character, and I'd say she's the best protagonist in the series, with Alex Browning as a close second. While these movies are best to watch with buddies and brewskis, the murder scenes in number 3 are the most painful to see. The bit with the nail gun is brutal. The ending, which I won't spoil, is disturbing, mostly due to the acting. And the best is the one I found kind of scary, which involves our ditzy damsels getting burned alive in tanning beds. The choice of music is ideal, the goggles and blue light are off-putting in the best sense, and it sounds so horrifyingly painful that it's a large reason I have never and will never tan this way. Yes, the intro could be better. Also, the villain subplot with half-price Christian Slater drips melodrama into a buck-wild carnival sequence that didn't need it. Yet its visceral deaths and surprisingly engrossing story sweep these issues aside and get the film another 7 out of 10. First off, I'm not taking points off for this, but I loathe when films in a series add a "the" in the title or otherwise hide the number. Oh, is it Friday the 13th, the final chapter? Is it though? Your Final Destination 4, shut your face. Almost Miles Teller and his friends barely avoid getting killed at a racetrack. The build-up isn't bad, but this is the worst opening sequence. Number 4 was shown in 3D, and such films are never as good when watching at home, which is what I did. I always thought 3D horror could be a winning formula, but unfortunately, such movies focus on gimmicky pop-out moments rather than atmosphere. And here, it's just one dumb, ineffective 3D flaunt after another. Even if I had seen this in theaters, I would still have issues because the deaths aren't interesting. Many die from blocks of concrete or fire, and the graphics are integrated about as well as the green screen in Black Panther, which is to say, not too good. To its credit, the film does flirt with a few innovations. It just doesn't take full advantage. First, we get a sequence where 2 separate deaths are shown and we flick between them. It's a nice change of structure, however the tones don't mesh at all. One is cruel, as a girl is stuck in a car wash with a sunroof open that combines fear of drowning with claustrophobia. The other is, well, the guy has his intestines butt-sucked by a pool drain. No, I am not making that up. Number 4 introduces the idea that suicide is impossible for these doomed souls, but then this plot point is never brought up again. The best innovation is that several of the deaths involve water in some way, as a method of killing or what saves a character. Since the plot is so reminiscent of the second movie, this is at least something new. Honestly though, I don't have much to say about this film's plot, because a few underutilized ad-libs aside, it feels like it's going through the motions. It's meh, with a side of fleh. The only standout is how much of a jerk everyone is.
I like that it... Oh, hell! That's... That's a little tight.
Down in front, asshole!
Final Destination 4 sparks occasionally, and the lead is at least competent, but as you watch it, you can feel the lack of effort early on, and that feeling never leaves. A mediocre 5 out of 10. The last in the series starts with a tumultuous bridge collapse involving concrete and automobiles. Again, I'm tired of the gray, guys. This is the third opening to involve car wreckage. I don't know why a cruise ship or a concert couldn't work. If you really want to get crazy, how about a circus? I know it's different in many ways. We have people fall to their demise, there's an emphasis on movement, but it still reminds me of previous installments, and the 3D, once again, is gimmicky and stupid. There are 2 reasons, other than the aforementioned opening, that this movie is awful. First, this story, and especially the dialogue, is sappy as hell. Every scene of quasi-romance, every argument cripples the pacing. The dialogue is a landfill, putrid and piled high. The climax at the restaurant is horrid, and there isn't a single moment where I liked or even empathized with any of the characters. And part of that is due to my second biggest issue, the acting. Dear God, some of the performances are bad enough to rival TikTokers. And while some cringy supporting roles could be offset by a killer lead, here, the lead is the movie's downfall. This guy gives one of the worst performances I have ever witnessed in any film, period. He has one facial expression throughout the runtime, and without affecting the film, you could replace him with a frightened meerkat.
No.
The film introduces the influence of murder in stopping this cycle, which is something new but occurs in the worst scene. However, the twist I kinda like. Spoilers, but at the end, the characters board an airplane and it's revealed to be the same airplane from the first film. I like it because not only is it a twist that stops rather than drags out the franchise, but it suits the main theme. Even if you dodge death, it will come back around. We also get a handful of good murders to interrupt the muck that is the script. If you enjoyed Dead Space 2, you may get a kick out of the gory eye surgery scene, and coincidentally they came out the same year. The acupuncture scene is poorly acted but entertaining, however the best is the gymnastics accident. In this scene, many things are shown to us, so you expect a more drawn-out, complex death. Yet the payoff, which I really can't show, is simple and quick, like a punchline. This scene is nerve-wracking, clever, and gruesome, and I love it. Well, that's the last time you're gonna hear the word love in this section. Yeah, there's some good gore, cool twist, but I have to endure the awful dialogue, sluggish pacing, and Mr. Meerkat, so 4 out of 10. And that's the series, in all its cheesy, bloody glory. The best opening, without question, goes to number 2's cataclysmic highway sequence. The best death overall is a tough one. The gymnastics scene came close, but I got to go with the apartment fire, which is also from number 2. It's just impeccable. And finally, as far as ranking them goes, from worst to best is number 5, then number 4, then number 1. I deliberated a bit on the top spot, and so I thought, which of these do I want to watch again? And that's why number 2 is a solid runner-up, and Final Destination 3, for its immersive script, strong lead, and ruthless sequences, is my pick for the best in the franchise. So, how would you rank this series? Comment below. If you enjoy video rankings like this, check out my Star Wars series and recommend any others you'd like to see. Be sure to subscribe and share the video, follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd, and say hi to me on Twitch on Halloween. And as always, thanks for watching.